Style is a reflection of your personality and your attitude. Hi guys, this is Pallabi from the studio today. You are watching Personalities with Pallabi only on Kumari Pallabi 19. Guest for today's evening is an amazing personality who works in the field of IT as well as wildlife photography. So without any further delay, let's get started. Hello and welcome Mr. Aditya to this session of interview. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hi Pallavi and hi everybody. A very warm welcome, and I'm honored to have me in the interview. Since this is my first interview. Please pardon if I make any silly mistakes and grammatical errors. So I'm excited to go what is in place for me next.
Yeah. So first of all, we would like to know about yourself a little bit, like where you are based and so on.
So I am based out from Telangana, Hyderabad. I've been born and brought up here, and all my school and graduation has been here. And I did my masters in University of Bedfordshire, London, and I came back as I got a job back in Hyderabad. So I've been into the IT field since I think this will be my 12th year, and I'm a product manager, and I'm leading a team of 8 people in my organization.
Okay.
So my photography started back in my graduation days in 2006. I had a very primitive camera called Canon 350D. I started as a street photographer, and then I learned photography through a reputed photography school in Hyderabad, which is Rajan School of Photography. And I excelled as a fashion photographer and a wedding photographer. I kind of got that vibe where you get a easy money from fashion and wedding, and then my interest was slowly inclining towards street photography. Since then, I worked as a street photographer. I worked in a magazine called Ozone, where I was this pollution and beggar photographer, where I used to photograph beggars on the streets and used to publish them into several magazines. Not only to Ozone, I was also a freelancer, and I was doing this as part of my graduation. And 2012, 11, I came back from London. I took a break from photography, and I again purchased my camera, which was Canon 5D Mark III. And I resumed my wedding and fashion photography because that is where you have all the big money coming in. And I took a break from it again. 2020 is when I started my street photography again. I purchased a Fuji film camera. It was an XS10. It's a very cute and a small point and shoot camera. So I was into street photography, architectural photography, and temple photography as part of this. And March 7th is when I started my wildlife journey, because I thought that it is finally I get settled in wildlife, because birds have been my fascination since as a kid, and wildlife and the big cats have been my fascination since in during my school days as well. So I'm yet to venture into big cats, but I will eventually go there. So let me cover my birds, and then I'll slowly move into big cats.
Your journey seems quite interesting till now. So could you give us some insight into your work that you are currently doing at the IT field?
So I am a product manager and a lead business analyst. I lead a team of 8 people, and I work in a healthcare domain where I predominantly work as a business SME. And it's a techno functional role where I get to work on some technologies, and I get to design some architectures, and I get to work on the several business domain queries that I get from my products. And I help my team build a proper product for my requirement. And during that, I'm also into the hiring spree, where I build my own team and hire new talent into my company, and I train new business and young and aspiring business analysts who want to come into this business domain, which is completely into healthcare, US healthcare.
Okay. So how would you describe a day in your life?
Typically a day in an office is different, and a day in my weekends are different, because weekend I become a different animal, because for me to capture a bird I have to turn into a different person altogether. But weekdays are a routine monotony, where I go to office, I get to talk to my friends. Now that everybody's back going to offices, I go to office, I talk to my friends, I get my deliverables with me, I work, and I come back. But weekends is when I get to play a different role altogether. Almost every weekend, Saturday and Sunday, I go out for birding. There are many places. I have my own group of friends whom I regularly do birding with, and I also partner with an NGO called Hyderabad Birding Pals. I'm sure it is pretty famous in Facebook,
Yeah.
and they organize events on an every Sunday, and I be part of that to see if I can capture some rare birds in this scenario. And Saturday I do my personal birding with a group of my friends that I'm very close to.
Okay. So, what tip or advice would you like to give to the young aspirants who are willing to come to the field of IT as well as wildlife photography?
So my take on the IT and wildlife mixture is that IT is what will get you money, and wildlife is what will get you peace. That is how I look at it. I work for every day so that I can enjoy my weekend. It doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the work that I do. It is because of the work that I do, I'm able to peacefully enjoy the weekends. So it is both hand in hand, like a yin and yang.
Okay. So, how is it to get featured at UNESCO?
Okay, so this is a very interesting story. Back in 2011, while I resumed my street photography, I had this thing about my culture where uh, I am a good historian. I have this thing of collecting historical information throughout the India, and in and around Hyderabad, Telangana, there are close to 40 odd temples which have got some good heritage, but they are overlooked by the government of Telangana, or by that time it was Andhra Pradesh. So I have partnered with an NGO called Make Heritage Fun, where I go to each and every temple, I document it, I do a photo documentary. So for people who don't know what photo documentary is, it is like a blog where I take few pictures and I give a very descriptive description of what that picture is, where was it taken, and why did I approach this particular place. Okay, and I happen to go to four of such places. The list is still there. I am yet to cover the 30 odd places. It will go eventually, but four of the places where I went, I talked to the temple priest. I spoke to the villagers nearby living in that temple, and I found out that it had got some rich heritage. And I did a photo documentary, and I submitted my research paper to the Make Heritage Fund. And they have submitted this request to UNESCO, where a person going nearby that temple, if he searches temples near me, UNESCO is going to partner up with Google and they're going to put a pin on it. Back when the Google pin was not so famous, I had marked Google pins on two of the very famous temples which were ignored in my state. So one such temple is what link I have mentioned in my Instagram bio.
Okay. So, how is it to get educated in London and come back to India and start working?
So I didn't wanted to come back because of the weather and the scenic views that I had there. But the job that I was looking for was mostly in India, and my entire family was in India. So I had to make a choice between that and this, and I had to come back. So it's the usual the daily drama of a middle class family that goes on,
Yeah.
where you only live once versus the family you have to look into.
Yeah, that's true. And it's really appreciative that you came back to India. According to you, what type of role uh, do wildlife photographers are currently playing in the field of wildlife conservation or in the society?
So there are two things the way I look at it, and I have learned from my mentors who are in the Hyderabad birding paths, and they get to mentor me a lot, and I get to learn a great deal from them. The primary agenda of a bird photographer is to document that bird in its habitat. There is a difference between documenting a bird in the habitat and disturbing the bird in trying to capture it.
Yeah.
So we should make sure that the bird is not disturbed in the habitat, but the essence of the bird and its habitat must be captured. That is what will differentiate you from a regular photographer who is trying to capture birds only for the Instagram likes. But you need to have that sense of compassion in you, where you should also respect the bird, because you might be capturing the bird for your personal purpose, but you might end up disturbing the bird also.
Yeah. Unforgettable, any striking moment from the field of wildlife photography tour?
I have many actually. So you should have to give me a month wise thing. Then I can tell you because I am like this. I have to quote a Game of Thrones reference. I am slowly turning into Jon Snow from the North, where I've had all my experiences and I've had no one to share with. And all my friends who are also part of the same journey. So I cannot go share to a person who does not know this, and they eventually get bored doing it. That's what's happening to my usual friends group, where I go and start talking about birds and wildlife, and they're like, "Stop it, you're boring us with your all birds and wildlife." So I'm slowly turning into this person where I'm experiencing a lot in
Yeah.
this 8 to 9 months, but I don't know who to talk to on this. It's a very tricky situation. So you have to give me a specific date and time, and then I can start talking about that experience. Because every bird has got its unique experience, and every habitat has got a different experience in my view.
Yeah. So we will be talking about some of your picks, but before that, it was seen that you have interest in modeling photography. So how does modeling
Yes.
attract you?
Okay. All right. So this I learned photography as a model photography and a wedding photography, because that is where the big money comes in.
Yeah.
Wedding photography and model photography and I learned. Unfortunately, all the photographs that I've taken are my close friends. So they are somehow like models, or they're famous celebrities, and uh, and I happen to take good pictures of them. And some of the wedding photographs I could not share them because the clients had actually erase their privacy issues, where they didn't wanted me to upload their pictures in my Instagram page. But I have got some at least 4 or 5 weddings during my wedding photography days. So what attracts me is how can I capture a model and what she is thinking. So there is a saying where people say every photo tells a story. So if I'm able to tell a story from that model's picture that I'm capturing, I think I've done my job.
Okay. So what type of challenges do you face while juggling between your corporate life as well as photography? Means
Time.
both your profession and passion.
Time is the biggest enemy that I have. I open my eyes on Monday and I get weekend within a flash of time. And when the weekend goes even more faster than the weekday, and there is so many unfinished things or unsaid done. And I have also have to be spend time with my family and my friends. I have to compartmentalize between my wildlife friends and my regular friends and my family. And I have got a daughter of 7 years. I have to even spend time with her. So this is what is the most irritating part in becoming busy in the name of corporate and in the name of wildlife photography, is you don't get to have time.
According to you, what factors have affected the IT field? So where is this industry leading to in the coming years?
Uh, okay, I'll tell you. I have actually given this reasoning to many other young aspirants who are coming into the IT. We as in India, and I am okay that I'm generalizing it, but we as in India have a lot of competition. The sense of competition is embedded into our blood, and that will make us a good employee and a good worker, but then that will not make us a good leader. To become a good leader, you will have to forego this art of this theft of competition. Only then you will understand the true meaning of how you can become a leader, and how you can build your product and improve your company in your particular organization and in your role. So the very thin line between you have to grow and you have to grow with others is very important in an IT field. And that is what is missing in India. And we are seeing the decline of leaders in India. And people who have been migrated to US from India, all of them have become good leaders. And in India, we do not have the proper CEOs, of course, with the great leaders like Ratan Tata and Mahindra ji in our pocket. But having said that, that ratio is pretty less.
Okay. Using this one, Sony Alpha series. So how are these equipments as per your experience?
So Sony Alpha 3, I actually have gone a full circle now, and in coming days I'll be moving to Nikon. And as we speak right now, my Nikon camera is on its way. I have will be upgrading to a new camera. So it's like I've used all the flagship product cameras that I have. But Sony, the beauty of Sony is it's in its colors. the vibrant and saturated colors that Sony captures, I don't think any other camera will give you that good results.
So let's talk about some of your picks.
Uh-huh.
So could you share the storytelling behind this?
Okay, this is in a place called Chincholi Wildlife Sanctuary, and this is a close to 300 to 158 kilometers from where I stay. It was on a very rainy day that I went, so the activity of birds was very less. So the funda that we it happens is whenever there is rain, whatever birds that we have, they disappear, and it becomes a very challenge for you to find birds. And in that, the challenging part was to find a bird in its nest because it was raining. Luckily, the male minuet was kind of protecting the eggs, and I was fortunate enough to capture that. So it was I had to find that in the complete Chincholi forest, where I had to go along in the interior of the forest looking for a bird. But since it was raining that day, I could not find much birds. But while I was coming back, said I've given up, I found this one. So the Chincholi is special for this reason, because this is a very special moment where I know people say that you're not supposed to capture birds on nests, it is unethical. But I think you should also portray the beauty of the nest, and how they are called the first natural architects. It is from the birds is how we have learned the power is the art of architecture and building houses, because they are the ones who were the first to build houses in our ecosystem.
So what are your future plans related to wildlife photography tours?
Okay, so I will mostly be doing big cats, and right now I stand around 160 eBird count. My eBird count about birds is around 160, and I will slowly be progressing into big cats, because that is my ultimate goal, is to capture the habitat and the big cat and see how it goes. But my lifelong bucket list are two places. One is Kaziranga, another one is Masai Mara. Kaziranga is our pride. I think we have to, every photographer who calls himself a wildlife photographer must visit Kaziranga. And that has been my lifelong dream, to come visit the one horned rhino. And hopefully I get to visit it someday. And the next one is Masai Mara. That is again a dream for every photographer, to see how the beautiful savannas work there.
Okay. The next peak is this one. Asian beard owl.
Bar Dowlet. So this is my recent trip to West Bengal, where I had visited to Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary. I was in the Nurbong tea estate, and there were a group of photographers, and I got a very clear shot of an Asian bird owlet. Never before that I had got such good clear shot, because it is said that the habitat is so welcoming that they'll welcome you into their ecosystem. So the experience that I had in Mahananda, where all the birds will come, give you poses and go. That is how welcoming the ecosystem was. So for all the bird photographers, if you want to get good pictures, come visit Mahananda Wildlife Sanctuary.
So how long do you wait to get the click of the bird?
So I have these daily targets. So for if I'm going for a birding photography, I'll first check the eBird checklist. So what are the most commonly found birds there? And I set up my target saying that at least three lifers is what I have to capture. Lifers, for the people who don't know, are the birds that you capture them for the first time. So if I'm able to capture three lifers in a trip, I think my trip is successful. That is the basic target I have.
So what was the story behind this pic?
Oh, this guy is my resident. He used to wake me up during my summer days. So he's a common Iora, and yes, he's a good friend of mine. He somehow migrated to somewhere else, but there was a common Iora couple in my lawn, and they came for a nesting, and I had provided. I kind of protected that tree where this was being nested, and every day morning, I had to drop my daughter to school, and he used to give me a hi and welcome call. So one day he came out, and he waited there for about 10 minutes. I dropped my daughter back, and I got my camera, and I got the shot. So this guy was a very close friend of mine who is no longer there with us. he moved on to a different place, but I hope he comes back to us during the migration seasons.
Okay. So what was the story behind this pic?
Okay, so if you're people from Telangana and if you have not visited Vikarabad and Anantagiri Hills, then you're missing a big time. Anantagiri Hills, Vikarabad is called a paradise of birds, and this guy, the rock thrush, is one commonly found bird which will greet you with such loud noises. It will not leave you until you have photographed him. That is how he has got adjusted to humans around them. So he's a very loud noise, and he'll make sure that you are noticed properly. So it's a different feeling when a bird comes to you and start asking you for pictures in his own voice. So you are forced but to take a picture of him. I have at least 60 to 70 pictures in my camera, just him making some loud noises.
Okay. So that's really great, and it's interesting to hear a lot of stories from your side. And well, Mr. Aditya, we are to the end of this session, and I must say that you are truly an amazing and inspiring personality. It was great interacting
Thank you
with
so
you.
much.
All the best for your future
Thank you.
endeavors.
Thank you. It was nice, lovely, and meeting you.
Same here. So audience, this was Mr. Aditya from the field of wildlife photography as well as IT. Hope you like today's interview. I will be back soon with another eminent personality very soon. Till then, thank you so much for watching. Goodbye for now.
Thank you. Bye-bye.